Our tale opens with Diki, a 38-year-old man, initiating his journey by retiring to his room and activating his gaming setup. In an effort to escape the burdens of adulthood and recapture his youth, he immerses himself in virtual reality gaming. Within this virtual world, Diki experiences a sense of liberation, engaging in activities beyond his real-life capabilities. He sets about creating his avatar, a young character with black hair, mirroring his own height, and names it Earth. Despite not being entirely content with the avatar's appearance, as it lacks the quintessential look of a protagonist, Diki is undisturbed. He reflects on his own life, considering himself not the main character there either. With limited gaming time, about 2 to 3 hours daily, Diki opts for a subdued presence in the game, aiming to avoid disrupting other players. He chooses a set of underwhelming skills for Earth, intentionally picking skills deemed ineffective to deter interactions with others. After completing the customization, Earth enters the game titled The Concept of One More Free Life. This tranquil game lacks final bosses, offering players the freedom to engage in various activities like battling, crafting, or socializing. Shortly after Earth's arrival in the game, he encounters ridicule from another player clad in golden armor for choosing to be an archer, a role deemed weak. Earth, undeterred, focuses on honing his skills and proceeds to the training hall, observed by a blue-haired girl. He diligently improves his skills, achieving level 5 in each, satisfying his requirement for basic survival in the game. Opting out of combat due to a crowded field, Earth concentrates on herb gathering, utilizing his keen vision. His herbal knowledge grows, enhancing his medicinal skills. He then purchases a beginner's medicine crafting kit, producing healing potions and an antidote for future use in combat. His medicinal skill reaches level 7, and his production abilities also improve. Finally, Earth enters the battlefield, now less crowded, where he encounters a wild rabbit and resorts to his bow and arrow. In the game, Earth's initial attempt with the bow and arrow proves ineffective against a rabbit. Resorting to a more direct approach, he successfully defeats it, earning rabbit meat and a pelt. The blue-haired girl, along with a red-haired guy named Sway, approaches Earth, impressed by his skills. Sway and the girl, Millie, send friend requests to Earth and suggest teaming up, but Earth is not keen on the idea. Continuing his monster hunting to level up, Earth struggles with stealth but manages to improve his skills, including a wind attack and sneak ability. He successfully hunts a rabbit horn with his bow and arrow. Afterward, Diki logs out to prepare for work the next day. The following day in the game, Earth explores the city and comments on the poor taste of bread from NPCs, deciding to try cooking instead. Using the rabbit meat and seasonings, he initially fails to make a palatable steak but succeeds after adjusting his technique and adding herbs, earning a 5 rating. Motivated, he tries again, boiling then grilling the steak, which earns a 7 rating and attracts a crowd with its aroma. Earth sells the steak at a high price, earning a fortune and reaching level 20 in cooking skills. Diki reflects on applying such business acumen in real life. He then crafts a bow, initially creating a basic one before improving to a more powerful version. After purchasing armor and a better healing potion, Earth defeats various monsters on the battlefield, improving his kick, wind magic, and archery skills. Upon returning to town, Earth finds a potion shortage, even among NPCs, which is unusual. He regrets selling all his potions earlier, missing an opportunity to profit. Surrounded by adventurers in need, Earth agrees to make a limited supply of potions, charging double the price. In response to Earth's announcement about potion availability, the desperate crowd is relieved. Sway and Millie assist in managing the crowd while Earth prepares potions. Earth's unique skill in medicine, previously undervalued, becomes crucial as he is one of the few with this ability. After selling a large quantity of potions, Earth runs out but promises more for the following day. A confrontation arises when the golden armored player, Ward, demands reserved potions. Earth refuses, and a fight ensues. He intervenes but is pushed aside. Earth, supported by the crowd, warns Ward against further aggression. He suggests Ward should make allies for his own benefit, but Ward, angered, challenges Earth to a duel. In the duel arena, Earth dodges Ward's initial attack, counters with a kick, and lands a critical arrow strike, winning the duel. The crowd cheers for Earth, who promises more potions tomorrow. Diki logs out, contemplating the social dynamics that might change in the game due to this event. A notification reveals Z-Way inviting Earth to join his party. The potion shortage has made players more cautious, valuing the medicine skill highly. Diki feels vindicated as players adjust their strategies. Upon logging in again, Earth is invited by Sway for a hunt. The group introduces themselves: Nora, a short sword melee attacker, Rage, a tank, and Kmin, another melee attacker. Earth's recent victory has made him well known, despite his desire to remain low profile. The group plans to hunt a wild bear, known for its intelligence and speed. Earth is asked about strategy, and he realizes the group is relying on him for the bear's defeat. Despite his reservations about his abilities and lack of experience fighting bears, Earth understands the group's expectations and prepares for the challenge. In the game, Z-Way and his team are overly reliant on MC, Earth/Diki, disregarding his hesitations. Z-Way even expects MC to cook for them after hunting a wild bear, demonstrating a somewhat exploitative attitude. The team, energized for the hunt, ventures into the forest. With MC's long vision, they locate a solitary bear, despite his reluctance to disturb it. Ziwei suggests using the terrain to their advantage in the hunt, while Kmin admires MC's vision skill. As they prepare, Millie casts a spell on Sui to aid in the battle. MC, using his sneak ability, gets close to the bear and injures it with an arrow. However, the bear, now enraged, charges. Rage draws the bear's attention, buying time for a strategic attack. Despite their efforts, the bear's resilience surprises everyone, challenging their skills and strategies. MC identifies the bear's forehead as a potential weak spot and takes a precise shot, but it fails to significantly harm the bear. As the battle intensifies, and with Rage's health depleting, MC uses a speed boost ability for a critical maneuver, jumping onto the bear to push the arrow deeper, ultimately defeating the bear. The team celebrates their victory, despite initial regrets about the challenging fight. Hungry from the ordeal, MC surprises everyone with wolf kebabs, except for Sui, to whom he jokingly offers bread. Eventually, MC shares the kebabs with Sui as well. The conversation shifts to cooking and recipes in the game. Noro inquires about buying recipes, but MC explains that recipes cannot be simply purchased, they require time, effort, and skill to create. He emphasizes that the quality of a dish depends on the cook, not just the recipe, as two individuals using the same recipe can produce vastly different outcomes. The lesson here is that while recipes are important, the skill and technique of the cook are what truly make the difference in the end. The story continues with Nora feeling disappointed upon learning that quality can't be bought with recipes, but Sui tries to lift her spirits by promising that MC will cook for them, making decisions on his behalf without asking. The team, now exhausted, decides to head home. A flashback reveals MC's challenging experiences in the forest. He encounters a giant bee and a rock ant, the latter proving to be exceptionally tough. During the fight, MC is caught off guard by the ant's shockwave attack, leading to his defeat and return to town. This setback makes MC reconsider his approach and playstyle. An announcement about a new game update titled The Fairy Brawl catches MC's attention. This update promises new skills and fairy companions for players. Excited, MC decides to upgrade his equipment to stay competitive. He learns blacksmithing to craft more potent arrowheads and modifies his boots with 7 spikes and a blade, enhancing his kicking ability. While working on his new gear, MC intrigues other players, including blacks, with his innovative designs, especially his kick-enhancing blades. He then visits Mayan, an armor merchant, to acquire bowstrings. Impressed by MC's modified boots, Mayan assists him, and MC thanks her. Back to crafting, MC considers his options for a new bow. He dismisses the short bow due to its melee range and the long bow for its slow speed. He decides on a hunting bow, crafting it with enthusiasm. Blacks visits again, admiring MC's work and wishing him luck with his new bow. The next day, MC tests his new bow in the forest, efficiently defeating the rock ant that previously bested him. Pleased with his new equipment, he continues to hunt. However, the excitement is dampened when MC's crystal breaks during the Fairy Brawl update, preventing him from contracting a fairy. He shares his frustration with Sui and Millie. Although Millie reassures him about the second half of the update, MC feels disheartened seeing others with their fairy partners. MC's spirits are lifted somewhat when he notices that fairies seem naturally drawn to him, leading his team to wonder if he possesses some unique affinity with them. Enjoying a pleasant day outside, MC reflects on his recent changes and encounters a fairy. Initially disheartened by his broken crystal and inability to form a bond, he's surprised when interacting with the fairy boosts his stats and unlocks new skills. This reinvigorates his passion for learning and exploring new abilities. Eager to test his newfound skills, MC ventures into a nearby dungeon alone, embracing the darkness and recalling his past dungeon experiences. Inside, he utilizes his enhanced senses to avoid dangers and encounters a giant spider. In the midst of the battle, MC uses his new high jump skill, albeit with a minor mishap, but ultimately defeats the spider. The spider transforms into fairies, which he calls darkness fairies, leading him on an unfamiliar path. Navigating a tightrope high above the ground, MC discovers a secret door shown to him by the fairies. He finds an old, rusty case containing a mysterious ring, a discovery that excites his love for exploration and the unknown. His adventure is interrupted by an announcement from the game's moderators about an upcoming fairy battle tournament. The announcement details PvP battles where fighters' victories will influence their fairy's evolution. The top 16 fighters will qualify for a main event tournament. This news excites MC, but he also considers the vulnerability of crafters in these battles. Concerned, MC consults his crafter friend, Black, about potential targeting of less combat experienced guild members. Black reassures him, explaining that the crafters are united and will spread the word if anyone tries to exploit them for easy wins. This community response comforts MC, knowing that there's a supportive system in place to protect the guild's crafters. MC, despite the reassurance from Black, remains somewhat concerned. Black inquires if MC plans to visit the newly discovered town, Nexia, where many PvP fighters are gathering for their initial battles. Black himself prefers to stay true to his craft rather than engage in combat. Back at the guild center, MC notices people staring and whispering about him. Curious, he checks his stats panel and discovers he's been given the title the Fairies Player. While initially amused and proud, he soon feels embarrassed by the attention this title brings, as it contradicts his preference for a low-profile presence. Desperate to change his title, MC seeks a PvP battle. A woman named Rona steps up to challenge him, but her fairy, seemingly drawn to MC, declines the fight. This pattern continues with other fairies, reinforcing MC's unwanted title and leaving him feeling frustrated and defeated. At home, MC is inundated with requests to cook steaks for fairies, as word is spread about his culinary skills. Rona calls, asking for his help with her fairy that won't eat, unaware that MC is already overwhelmed with similar requests. She later helps him prepare steaks for the town's fairies. Rona then invites MC to explore Nexia. There, they witness an intense PvP battle, amazed by the fighter's skills. Rona points out something unusual about one fighter's wolf fairy. As the battle commences, the fighter with the wolf fairy effortlessly blocks an attack and commands his fairy to counterattack, highlighting the dynamic and strategic nature of fairy-assisted combat in the game. In Nexia, MC and Rona observe a peculiar incident where a fighter's wolf fairy refuses to obey orders during a PvP battle. MC explains that fairies may rebel if mistreated, potentially leading to dire consequences for their masters. He recounts a video where a fairy turned rogue against its abusive master, emphasizing the importance of treating fairies with respect and kindness. Later, the fighter with the wolf fairy approaches MC, seeking advice on reconciling with his fairy. MC, known for his caring attitude towards fairies, advises him to treat the fairy as a friend, sharing meals and bonding. The fighter follows this advice, cooking steaks for both himself and his fairy, which improves their relationship. Subsequently, Earth is approached by Silver, an older player in heavy armor, who inquires about a player named Glad. Silver reveals Glad's history of arrogance and his failure to bond with a fairy, leading to his expulsion from the static group. Silver warns Earth about Glad, who now possesses a darkness fox fairy and may seek revenge. Despite Silver's story, Earth remains cautious, not fully trusting a single perspective. He decides to focus on enhancing his skills for self-protection. In a somewhat exaggerated scenario, Earth practices his archery on a wild bear, employing a mirror technique to multiply his arrows and utilizing a leather whip and spiked shoes to defeat the bear. This fantastical display of skill and power underscores Earth's determination to improve and stay prepared for any challenge, including the potential threat from Glad. In this fantastical game world, Earth continues to evolve his skills and weaponry. He upgrades to a new kick technique and finds a new task, mining ores near Nexia for crafting light and heavy metal. During his mining, Earth discovers an explosive ore, which he wisely secures in his inventory, recognizing its potential danger. Back at Black's smithy, Earth, amidst some lighthearted banter, crafts a new twisted arrow dagger and a metal whip. These are not ordinary weapons but tools designed for survival and combat efficiency. Earth's work ethic and craftsmanship impress Black, as he works tirelessly for 24 hours straight to achieve his goal. Later, Earth experiments with the explosive ore to create samples of explosives. After testing them on an empty ground, he finds the ideal balance for his explosive creations. He then tests these in the field, hunting wild bears with his new weapons and explosives. These battles showcase the effectiveness of his inventions and result in a significant increase in his stats, unlocking new magical abilities like flight and a Gatling arrow. To further protect himself, Earth fashions a leather cape from the fur of the bears he defeated. This practical addition is designed to shield him from damage, especially during combat. An announcement for a tournament called Fanfare draws Earth's attention. He meets Ziwei and Millie, discussing the tournament. With only 16 slots available, Earth is curious about the competitors, particularly Silver and Glad. Knowing Silver's backstory and Glad's quest for revenge, Earth anticipates an intense showdown between the two. The tournament begins, with each battle more thrilling than the last. The climactic moment arrives with the much-anticipated face-off between Glad and Silver. Despite Glad's confidence and knowledge of Silver's tactics, the fight is closely contested. In a surprising turn, Glad secures victory over Silver, leaving the crowd and Earth in shock. Glad's triumph over Silver is seen as a major upset, feeding into his arrogant demeanor. In the dramatic conclusion of the tournament, Glad's Darkness Fox Fairy undergoes a transformation into a Fairy Queen. This transformation marks a pivotal moment as the Fairy Queen rejects Glad's leadership, revealing that the tournament's true purpose was to find a worthy leader. Glad's sole focus on revenge against Silver and his selfishness lead to his disqualification. The Fairy Queen, much like a figure in a moral tale, enlightens Glad that he was merely a means to an end, just as he treated her as a tool for his vengeance. In a rage, Glad challenges the Fairy Queen to a battle, with the stakes being his rewards from the tournament. The Fairy Queen accepts, warning Glad of the consequences of losing. The battle commences with the Fairy Queen overwhelming Glad with her powerful spell attacks. Despite his stubborn resistance, Glad is soundly defeated, left with a mere 1 horsepower, his pride shattered. In the aftermath, Silver approaches Glad, now a humbled figure, and the Fairy Queen announces that others will be rewarded for their conduct during the tournament. 3 players, including Earth, are teleported to the battlefield. The Fairy Queen rewards the first 2 players by increasing their fairy ranks. Then, turning to Earth, she offers him a different kind of reward, the opportunity to fight her.
The Queen said Earth couldn't get a reward because he doesn't even own a fairy. So, she decided to have a fight instead. Whether Earth wins or not, the Queen promised to give him some fairy power as a prize, but if he wins, he would get more of it. Before the fight began, Earth took a moment to think about how to beat this super strong fairy. He figured he might not stand a chance because of her powerful spells, especially one that looked like a big explosion. Earth thought about his advantage. The fairy hadn't fought an archer before. Even though Earth didn't pick the most powerful skills, it turned out to be helpful. If the fight went on for too long, the fairy would figure out how to beat him, and his advantage would be gone. Earth decided he couldn't win by fighting fair, so he had to fight in a dirty way. The fight started, and Earth did a cool sliding move to get some space for his first attack, and was happy to see that his arrow cancelled the fairy's weak wind attack. But then, he had to dodge her fire blasts. Earth's next attack went through a fireball and hit the fairy. The fairy realized she was at a disadvantage from a distance, so she used wind to get closer. Earth saw that coming and pulled out a potion. His potion turned out to be strong poison that made a fog. The fairy couldn't use her spells in the fog, so Earth made it rain with another potion. Everyone was surprised. The fairy used Earth magic to protect herself, but Earth did something strange. He tried to sneak while being right out in the open. He explained that the fairy couldn't see him, and he planned to finish the fight. The fairy couldn't sense Earth, so she came out of her protective shell to attack. But she was surprised to find no one, and Earth surprised her from behind with a metal whip and a slide with his special shoes. Then, he shot her with a bunch of arrows. He didn't stop there and used a special twin-fanged arrow to deal more damage and finished with a move called Arrow Twister. The fight was pretty one-sided by this point, and Earth ended it with a powerful kick. The crowd cheered loudly, but Earth didn't want that. He forgot he was in a big arena, which would cause him to be more well-known. The Fairy Queen accepted her defeat even though Earth went a bit too far. Now it was time for Earth's reward. The Queen asked for his fairy crystal and the stand for the Fairy King's ring. Earth had found a ring earlier, and he gave both to her. She was amazed to see 5 lights inside his crystal and told some children of the light to show themselves. A 6th light appeared, and she gave him a 7th light. His crystal changed into a slightly better ring. The Queen said that was his reward, but there was a struggle as Earth hesitated to put it on. She used a spell to force it onto his finger, and Earth couldn't take it off. The ring turned out to be really cool, containing the power of 6 elemental fairies, and it was the only one of its kind in the whole world. However, Earth was horrified to discover that he couldn't take it off. The Queen then left him in misery, and the crowd moderately approved, considering the event a success. After the event, significant changes began for Earth. His battle with the Queen was uploaded to the game's site, showcasing the strength of wind magic and archery. Many players jumped on the bandwagon, choosing this combination for their builds. Unfortunately, Earth became super famous for pioneering this build, so he decided to find a quiet place to play. His peaceful solitude was disrupted when the Fairy Queen appeared, revealing that the ring was a teleport point. She teased him about bringing love to a loveless man. Earth tried to shoot her back to her kingdom, but she found it boring. It became clear that he couldn't regain his peaceful life, so he headed into town. People humorously called him the Fairy Queen's husband, and others admired his cool death shoes. In town, Earth heard someone screaming for attention, so he decided to go hunting to escape the noise. He remembered asking the Queen about the Prism Nova spell that could be learned after equipping the ring. While hunting, he discovered the spell and unleashed its powerful effects on his prey, applying multiple random status effects to enemies in the area. The Queen confirmed his findings but mentioned that paralysis and petrify had low odds of triggering, and the cooldown was quite long. The Queen then annoyed Earth by trying to eat his fairy good, meant for his customers only. She complained about rulers lacking freedom due to constant hard work. A guy dressed as Broccoli, named Nether, from the Bow of Apollo Guild, appeared claiming to be there to help Earth, thinking he was a suffering archer. Earth wasn't interested, and when Nether finished his speech, Earth simply ignored him and said goodbye. After packing up, the Queen refused to leave Earth's side, so he agreed to send her back with some food. Satisfied, she chuckled, and Earth, clueless about her true meaning, was glad to be alone again for some peace and quiet. The next day, our little blacksmith is back at work. However, he's shocked when Black explains that he's now famous, and many people want to watch him craft his equipment. He agrees to let people watch but asks them not to stand too close. His first task is to upgrade the X-type compound hunting bow. Since he's used it a lot, he needs to swap out the bow itself. The reinforcements will be light metal instead of iron, and he uses a newer, higher quality wood. The result is a big upgrade to a more powerful bow with 46 attack power. Moving on to his awesome murder shoes, he decides to make significant changes. Instead of using iron, he opts for mostly light metal to increase armor value and stability during landing. Adding steel spikes and a screw twist learned from arrow making, he creates Murder Shoes 2.0 in a new colorway. Earth then goes to pick up his cape and is shocked to find it has a score of 9. The girl explains it's because of the high-quality materials he provided. She gives him a great price, and Earth heads to see the clan mentioned after receiving an invite. The guild master apologizes for Nether's behavior and explains that everyone in the game now knows about Earth after his fight with the fairy. She reveals that Nether used Earth's name to recruit players, but they've already punished him. She then fangirls over Earth's fight, calling it an inspiration for all archers. Despite wanting to relax and enjoy the game, Earth realizes he won't get that chance. The people in suits discuss how Earth defeated the Fairy Queen and won her heart, acknowledging his massive influence on players worldwide. They decide to keep a close eye on him. Earth notices the game will open another server, expecting an influx of new players. In the game, he reveals a new status effect called Break Arms in the recent patch. If a player gets hit with it, they can't hold a weapon for a while. If they take more than 25% of their total HP and damage to their arms, they'll be paralyzed or petrified. It's then announced that a new dungeon called the Challenge from the Departed is coming to the game. The new dungeon's floors are entirely randomly generated, providing a unique experience each time a player enters. The goal is to reach the 10th floor amidst numerous traps. Knowing he needs a shield for the mysterious dungeon, Earth starts to specialize in small shields. With materials in hand, he sets out to make a new compound bow, different from before. The bow has an attack of 38, even though its score is only 3. Unfortunately, the arrows are too expensive, so he made it for the sake of learning. Earth plans to create something even better that doesn't exist in the real world, requiring him to draw up the plans himself. He spends the night finishing a shield, a unique weapon containing a hidden compact bow with a scope, transforming back into a shield when released. It's powerful, and even if hit with an arm breaker, Earth can still attack at long range. After installing the update, Earth finds a flood of new players. Heading to the new dungeon, he sees players hustling to sell potions. Suddenly an off-brand Power Rangers approach him, seeking a replacement for the sick Black Ranger. Earth agrees to join them. The Rangers are excited, and while they quickly defeat skeleton monsters, Earth focuses on finding traps. They move through the dungeon, encountering danger. As they progress, Earth lets the Rangers take the lead, relieved that they swiftly handle threats. The team of Rangers is incredibly nice, brushing off any frustration about the dungeon's challenges. On the 3rd floor, they encounter more danger, but the Pink Ranger confidently takes charge, efficiently dealing with more powerful monsters. The guy with the axe is surprised when his attacks prove ineffective, and Earth explains that physical attacks won't work on these specific monsters. Earth uses his wind magic on his bows to clear the threat, and they find the entrance to the 4th floor. On the 4th floor, Earth gets a strange feeling as if the Grim Reaper is present. They hear a blood-curdling scream, prompting the Rangers to leap into action, and Earth follows reluctantly. A trap closes a door, and Earth realizes it won't open until they complete the room's quest. The room is filled with skeleton monsters, and the Rangers eagerly prepare for battle. Deciding not to hold back, Earth fights at full strength. The Rangers showcase their flashy but powerful unique attacks, clearing the room. A treasure chest appears, and Earth warns one of the guys not to open it, but the guy, relying on his thief skills, insists he can tell if it's a trap. Earth suggests waiting until they leave the room to open it, but the Green Power Ranger points out they won't get the reward if they do. Trusting Earth, the Rangers leave the room, and the door shuts behind them. Earth explains that the second trap preys on players' greed, and the trapped players scream in agony. Running out of time, they are sent back outside. The Red Ranger, impressed by Earth, asks about his level. Earth doesn't give an exact number but mentions being over 20. Despite being over level 30, Earth decides not to disclose this information to someone he just met. They split their meager winnings, and Earth is content, happy that his thief's skill improved significantly. But the Green Ranger said that he wanted to explore the 2nd floor more due to his completionist nature and love for mapping. However, his maps are incomprehensible to the team, and that the map would be useless as the dungeon is randomly generated. Earth then adds them as friends, and they bid their goodbyes. Earth, driven to improve, focuses on disarming traps faster to reach the 10th floor of the dungeon. He decides to build a tool to enhance his thief skill, a challenging task that requires the right balance. Black steps in and improves the lockpicking tool beyond Earth's expectations. Suddenly, the Fairy Queen appears, surprising Earth. She contemplates making a big announcement to avoid startling him in the future. Venting about delivering new contract crystals, she says goodbye to her husband. And Earth playfully whacks her head, reminding her they aren't actually married. Inspired by her determination, Earth works harder, preparing a ton of arrows for the next dungeon run. The next day the Fairy Queen returns, looking disheveled, sharing her struggles with delivering crystals and handling weird questions from players. Suggesting ways to brighten her mood, she slips a mock marriage certificate for Earth to sign, but he refuses. The Fairy Queen admires Earth's delicious meat bun, and he explains his cooking skill reached level 50. She appreciates being the first to taste it. Realizing her challenges as the Fairy Queen, Earth decides not to push her away, though she gets a bit too comfortable, calling him husband, making him question if he made a mistake. And with that, the episode came to an end. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.
Earth is fighting a monster and is losing. He is stunned. We will look at a few days prior to learn how Earth got into the situation. After making tools to help disarm traps faster in episode 6, Earth has done solo dungeon missions. He has been practicing disarming traps. At first, he messed up. After a while, with a lot of practice, his theft skill that lets him disarm traps is now level 50. Earth can pick which bonus he wants because he is level 50. He picks Benevolent Thief. This will allow Earth to steal from monsters, and if he does a sneak attack, he will get a bonus. Episode 7, we are meeting the Black Power Ranger. I am so happy a knockoff version of the Power Rangers are in this anime. The Power Rangers were my bath toy when I was seeing my dad. I was also Power Rangers a few times for Halloween. The Power Rangers and Earth go into the dungeon. Black and Earth both disarm a chest with a trap and bond over it. The more Earth disarms traps, the higher success rate he has. His Benevolent Thief skill has increased and gotten better as well. Earth says he figured out the monsters in the dungeon are attracted to light. Earth has gotten good at sneaking around monsters. Earth currently has 5 minutes left and is on floor 9. He finds the staircase to level 10, but the staircase is surrounded by danger. Earth flies over the traps. He did not jump fly far enough and lands on a trap. Earth rolls into the staircase to floor 10. Earth has made it to floor 10 by himself. The timer says he has 2 seconds left, but stops. There is no more time limit. Earth drinks a potion to recover before walking on this last floor. And on this last floor, because the time has stopped, he can take his time. On floor 10, there are so many stairs. As Earth walks, a dungeon character named Andri speaks to him. He is a knight from the kingdom. He says him and others came to this dungeon to steal it. The monsters killed his group. He was the only one alive. When he reached the last floor, there was nothing there. He was trapped in the room with no air and died. He turned into a skeleton monster. He failed to seal the labyrinth. Andri is at the bottom of the stairs waiting for Earth. He wants Earth to kill him so he can be free. Andri's story is sad and sweet, and this is definitely the final boss battle. The stairs under Earth disappear and he falls. Andri is there. Andri speaks in a different voice from the one that told the story. The voice says he finally has taken over Andri. Andri asked Earth to kill him. Being possessed doesn't change the goal. Earth attacks Andri. Andri is strong. Andri is fast. They are fighting. Earth's bow breaks. Andri attacks. Earth is mainly on defense. Andri throws Earth against the wall. We are now, as the audience, caught up on how Earth got stunned. He isn't stunned for long. He avoids the attack and hits Andri in the face. They fight more. Earth catches Andri on fire with blue flames. Andri isn't moving because of this, or he's moving very slowly. Earth chants the whole Elder Prism Nova, which did take him time to say. Andri has one of his arms frozen. Elder Prism Nova didn't work fully. Fairy Queen arrives to help Earth. She freezes Andri. Once he is frozen, Earth uses multiple bow and arrow attacks along with exploding potions to win. The evil skeleton Andri is gone, and the human Andri is there. He thanks Earth. Andri comments he cannot believe a human, not a monster, killed him, and this is a joke. Before Andri disappears, he gives Earth his sword as a reward. Andri and his knights are now free and rest. The dungeon's door open. There is a game announcement to all players that Andri was a secret boss. The secret boss, a challenge from the departed, has been completed. The reward was Andri's sword, which is a superior one-handed sword weapon. Scene changed to Earth in the crafting guild like always. The weapons that broke during the fight cannot be repaired. He melts them away to make new weapons.
The game developers are talking about a character is advancing quickly thanks to Earth. The woman says a character is bored. The man replies, then let her out. We hopefully will learn what the conversation means. At the new dungeon, Earth teams up with Spy, Millie, and 2 others. Millie is the only healer for now. She tells Earth another healer will be joining them. They are a new player. They tell Earth this new player is rude. They were the only healer available today. Spy appreciates Earth for understanding. The new player arrives and she is so full of herself. Everyone is waiting around to go inside the dungeon. She thinks they are all there to greet her and they haven't been waiting to go inside the dungeon. Her name is Eliza. Eliza says Earth looks like a wimp. He does not look strong in her defense, but she truly is rude for questioning the party that asked her to join. Like, she can leave. Earth says inside the dungeon she can see if he is useful or not. Inside the dungeon, Earth opens a door. The group is so glad Earth is here. Earth can safely open things, disarm traps, and will help them not be killed. Eliza comments he really can disarm traps. The group is on the 5th floor. They are halfway done. Zvi says they should take a break. Eliza says they do not have time for a break since this dungeon only has a 1-hour time limit. Eliza is rude, but is intelligent. Viji says they will need to be careful moving to the other floors. Eliza has never made it into this dungeon on this 5th floor. I mean, she's also new, so she's probably never been in this dungeon at all. Eliza questions if monsters on this 5th level are even strong. Earth says yes, the monsters means you cannot attack them physically. They use a ton of status effects to make you stop moving. I thought this dungeon was randomized? Why are the monsters not randomized then? I'm so confused now. Millie says she can heal freeze and paralysis effects. Eliza can do petrification. They should be able to win against the lesser leech, who are the monsters on the 5th level. Earth gets a random message, and it is actually a skill he has on monsters are approaching them. Who knows if we will actually learn why Earth gets messages of monsters approaching and how he got that. Earth says there are no traps on this floor. This is good news. It means the group can fight without worry. They prepare to fight. Eliza is not ready. She is scared. This definitely is her first time in general fighting in the game. The group attack. The attacks do nothing. They will have to attack more with stronger spells. Ryuji is the defense shield player. He has enemies attack him and only him, so those in his party can focus on attack. So Zwei attacks with a sword, a physical attack that does damage. How is this possible when the lesser leech cannot be harmed by physical attacks? Did the anime forget that part of the plot? Ryuji gets injured and can no longer use his shield. He cannot move. They tell Eliza to heal Ryuji. She is the only one who knows how. Zwei tells Eliza she needs to heal him or they will all lose. Eliza is too scared to speak or move. Again, how does a physical attack work? Millie and Zai are around Ryuji trying to protect him. Earth throws bomb potions at the lesser leech. He tells Elijah to heal Ryuji. There is so much pressure for her to heal him that each individual character telling her to heal him just creates more pressure. Eliza does though heal Ryuji, and with him being healed, they win the fight. Everyone is exhausted. Eliza asks Earth why he didn't use his potion bombs earlier. He tells her he can only carry a limited supply. Eliza tries to complain when Zwei tells her to stop complaining. Millie tells both of them to stop fighting each other in the dungeon. Eliza says sorry to Earth. Earth says it is okay. It is time to keep moving on. We don't know how much farther they made it because we seen change to outside the dungeon. Zwei is happy Earth joins them. They will team up again in the future. We seen change and the game has released new weapons, a Japanese bow and otachi. A character in town approaches Earth. She says she is the Fairy Queen's little sister. She is here to kiss Earth. Earth tells her she is as bad as the Fairy Queen. She's here to be with Earth for his cooking instead. Earth says he is going to the armory so he cannot cook for her now. The little sister follows Earth to the armory and then he can cook for her when he is done. She comments she doesn't get to go outside. So the little sister was who the game developers were talking about being bored. The little sister is happy to be tagging along with Earth. Earth is here at the armory to get his cloak repaired. Earth is told the cloak cannot be repaired. Well, it could, but it would be easier to buy a new one. Earth wants new armor crafted. He has fur and silver she can use. She is going to make leather armor for Earth, and when it is done, she will let him know. The little sister points out since he is done, he can cook food for her. He prepares a steak for her to eat. The steak looks good. Once she eats it, she also says it tastes delicious. She eats 3 steaks. Earth asks since she is the little sister of the Fairy Queen, is she a fairy? She says she cannot tell him. With no information given, Earth says he will call her Ryu. Ryu tells Earth she plans on spending a lot of time with him. Another announcement is made. This game constantly has new announcements. This one is about a previously hidden aspect of the game's design. Skills evolve by leveling them. There's one condition that needs to be met to learn the most powerful ones. You have to specialize in a single playstyle. To use the most powerful physical skills, you only need to learn physical attacks. To use the most powerful magic skills, you only need to learn magical skills. This concept also applies to crafting. The game gave them 1 month to relocate their skills. Black says if Earth doesn't do that, he might have trouble with future fights. Earth says he doesn't want to change his stats. Black is happy to hear Earth will not be leaving him. He already had a few players leave him. We've seen change to Earth getting his leather armor. When Earth wears this, his defense goes up. He gets a bonus in durability and sight. Earth leaves the armor shop. As he walks, the Fairy Queen, along with others, put a barrier around them so they can have a serious conversation. The Fairy Queen tells Earth he will never be able to make a contract with a fairy. The fairy Playa cannot have a fairy. The Fairy Queen wanted Earth to make a contract with one of the 6 great fairies. But other fairies found out and 80% of the population of fairies said they wanted to be the one to make a contract with Earth. He is so popular that he cannot have a fairy or it will cause fights between fairies. Earth when hearing this, is not upset. He understands. Since Earth is not upset, the Fairy Queen gives him 2 powers. The first is landing 7 consecutive shots with a bow in 30 seconds. The second is firing a powerful arrow with a lot of HP and MP being used, though. The second power is only for emergencies. We end episode 8 with an announcement that players will be able to go to the Fairy Kingdom soon. This is exciting news. The Fairy Kingdom should be pretty, and Earth will be having so many fairies follow him. Earth is going to be extremely popular, and I wonder if the fairies will start calling him king. Before the fairies leave and this episode officially ends, Earth gives them food he cooked that they can take back to the Fairy Kingdom. Earth cooking for customers. They talk about how in this video game, there's an option to travel to the Fairy Kingdom soon. Earth gives Nora a fan. It is so if Zai does something stupid, like try to eat the food Earth cooks, she can hit him. There are 4 VR games and each have a different VR helmet. It was announced that you can now use any VR helmet with the 4 VR games. Zai and his guild are going to try and recruit new players that will be trying to play this game. They first need to ask Eliza, which they really asked her to officially join. Eliza is going to be self-absorbed and bully the new potential members. I thought she was a one-time character for 1 episode. I didn't think she would be reoccurring. Zai and his guild ask if Earth will officially join them. He says no. Earth just wants to do his own thing in the game, and with a guild, it might make it harder. Earth says in his mind he doesn't want other players to find out about how the game treats him, like with the fairies. Earth wants to keep the fairies a secret, but Rue appears. She wants to eat Earth's cooking. He tells her no, this is for customers. He plans to sell this. The group asks who Rue is. She's wearing Japanese clothes. She doesn't look like a fairy. They're very confused. Earth caves in and gives Rue food. Rue says only Earth can call her Rue. She doesn't answer the question, and neither does Earth on who Rue is, so Zai decides he's going to ask the game for him. Earth stops him by saying he will never eat his food in-game ever again if he does that. The girls figure it out. They realize along with Earth being a fairy player, he is now a dragon babysitter. We fast forward to the future where the Fairy Kingdom is open for players. Players have to walk to the North Fortress to get to the Fairy Kingdom. There are other ways to enter the Fairy Kingdom. One way is Earth's wedding ring from the Fairy Queen. The man in charge of the Northern Fort was told to look out for Earth so he may go straight to the Fairy Queen. The ring gives him fast access inside the Fairy Kingdom. He will be riding a bird that gives him access inside the Fairy Kingdom. The Fairy Queen and the high-ranking fairies greet Earth. They have prepared a parade for Earth's welcome, and this has made me laugh out loud. It is not so much a parade for Earth. It is more like Earth is going around the Fairy Kingdom as a welcome back parade. Earth is very happy. He is the only player to have this really cool, unique game experience. This makes the game more fun for him. The point of the parade was to show Earth to the Fairy Kingdom, and every fairy has a chance to see him. There are rumors the Fairy Queen was keeping Earth to herself, so she had to show him off, and that's why this whole entire parade is funny. The Fairy Queen would love to keep Earth to herself. Earth will stay in the Fairy Kingdom for 1 more day and then leave. Going to the Fairy Kingdom and staying in the Fairy Kingdom was the longest Earth has played the game. Earth is on his way to an inn to sleep. The Fairy Queen says they can sleep next to each other in her bed. Earth's answer is to run away. Earth jumps out the window and ran away. Earth gets to a southern gate in the Fairy Kingdom that has fewer players because it is less popular and I guess farther away. Earth defeated 8 high rabbits. He also shot thief birds trying to take the rabbits. This was a small quest he went on. Earth asks if there is an area he can cook at. The women tell him to use their kitchen. Earth cooks different meals with the meat he just got from the high rabbits and thief bird. It smells and tastes good. One group walks into the kitchen and wants to try Earth's cooking. After that, it booms. Earth is now cooking in the Fairy Kingdom. The next several days, Earth stayed here in the game doing quests, cooking, and making friends. Because Earth is in the Fairy Kingdom and ran away from the Fairy Queen, he is being searched for. Earth has to hide because a search party is here. The Fairy Queen and other fairies are obsessed with Earth. The search party heard there was a human here cooking food. They are lied to and told he already left. The search party is told this human headed east. The woman in charge of the search party is here because she wants Earth to cook for her and only her. She wants Earth as her private chef. Once the search party leaves, Earth is told he can stop hiding. Earth doesn't understand why he's being looked for. Well, the thing is, the Fairy Queen, his wife, obsessed with Earth, who he ran away from, has made an order that no fairy should speak to Earth. She wants him to come back to her. The place he is currently at in the Fairy Kingdom decided to help Earth because the Fairy Playa King acted normal and didn't want any special treatment. They all want Earth to stay here forever with them because all fairies are obsessed with with Earth, and this group decided to play it cool and chill so Earth can stay with them, and Earth does want to stay with them, but Earth says he cannot because he will cause problems for them in the future, and he leaves. Earth says he had fun here in the game with them all. I just remembered Earth's ring allows the Fairy Queen to teleport to him. Why didn't she do that? Earth leaves at night because nighttime is when you sneak out of places. He knows now he has to avoid everyone. He tries to walk past guards with his head down and his hood hiding his face. It doesn't work. They know who he is. The guards talk, and from them it seems like the Fairy Queen is not the one after Earth. It is the woman who wants Earth to be her private chef. I mean, either way, fairies love Earth, so it could be multiple fairies after him. The guards let Earth leave. As Earth runs outside this port of town, one of the beasts who ate Earth's cooking will help him escape far away. Earth is off to a different area in the Fairy Kingdom, which he also can just leave the Fairy Kingdom if everyone is after him. He doesn't have to stay here. Episode 9 ends with the Fairy Queen learning another fairy is after Earth. Earth has escaped a new town. The Fairy Kingdom loves art. The North Town loves literature. The East loves painting. The West loves sculpting. And in the South, where Earth is, they love music. Z10 brings Earth to an inn to sleep. They were up all night running. Earth is in a safe place and he logs out of the game. When he logs back in, the Fairy Queen finally teleported to his side. I did make a comment about why the Fairy Queen, who is someone looking for Earth, doesn't use the wedding ring to be by his side. The innkeeper checks in on Earth and sees he is with the Fairy Queen. Earth says it is not what it looks like. Z10 comes next and is happy for Earth. Earth asks them to save him from the Fairy Queen. To the rescue is Rue. The Fairy Queen is with Earth to apologize for what happened to him in episode 9. The Fairy Queen was so jealous, she punished the woman, her father who was the head of the town, and all 80 of the soldiers. Earth can only be with her and no one else. They were punished by having near lethal damage done to them 30 times, and the Fairy Queen only healed them 29 times. Earth tells the Fairy Queen he doesn't hate the Fairy Kingdom because of one bad experience. And what is going on? Ever since the Fairy Queen showed up in episode 10, she keeps calling Earth Big Brother. No, what? This is so odd. Did the writer forget the Fairy Queen adores Earth? Where was this off-screen change that happened with her? The Fairy Queen says Big Brother, yet Rue and her fight over flirting with Earth. The Fairy Queen and Rue leave Earth alone. The innkeeper tells Earth the fairies started a war with other nations once, and the Dragoness, which is what Rue is, had the deadliest battle with the fairies. They tell Earth not to let any other fairies know Rue is here. Episode 10 had one unnecessary scene, and this is it. I think Rue didn't need to be here, and the scene would have not changed meaning. The scene could have gone on without Rue being here. Like, Rue was only here for the 3 minutes of this scene, and she could have been taken out, and nothing would have changed, and they didn't have to say fairies and Dragoness fought, because it's only shown once in the scene, and it doesn't happen again in episode 10. So Rue being here was unnecessary. Zeton tells Earth he is lucky to have a pretty girl love him. He is jealous of Earth and the Fairy Queen. A woman comes to Earth's room looking for the wild hare Zeton. The woman's daughter has gone missing. The woman's name is Karen. She is a noble. Her race is one that can switch between human and wolf. So they are a werewolf. I don't know why this anime just doesn't say the word werewolf. Karen's daughter went out for a walk and never came back. She gives them a photo of what her daughter looks like. Earth and Z10 go around town asking if anyone has seen the daughter. They end up in the woods. 3 monsters attack them and they are defeated. Earth searches the area for more monsters. He finds monsters with 2 other people. Earth and Z10 go to investigate. Once there, they see the daughter, Mina, fighting. Z10 and Earth go attack the monsters. Z10 pours a healing potion on Mina. All 3 of them kill the monster goblins together. Z10 tells Mina her mother hired them to find her. Mina is impressed she's meeting the wild hare Z10. He's famous. Earth asks Mina why she didn't transform into a werewolf. Mina says on her walk, she smelled something sweet and then everything went hazy. She was surrounded by the goblins and she couldn't transform. Earth tells her to drink a potion and she can transform. Wow, wolves are so big. Mina was poisoned and Earth cured her. Mina as a wolf is big and tall. No wonder someone didn't want to fight her as a wolf. Earth says he is going to stay in the woods for a little. Something is wrong. Zeton and Mina leave. Earth tells the 2 humans to stop hiding. He noticed there were monsters and 2 others. He throws an explosion potion at a bush and 1 human comes out. Only humans could have told goblins how to fight and have knowledge to poison Mina. Earth doesn't want there to be a war between humans and fairies. This man hates fairies. Earth kills him. For now, there's no war. This man can come back. Also, there were 2 others at this field. We only meet one, so that other mystery person is still alive and could cause trouble, unless this other person was Mina. Earth sees Zeton and Mina waiting for him in the woods. Earth says he got the person behind the attack. Mina and Karen are reunited. Karen is going to pay them 100,000 Gosh each. Earth says he wants another reward. He asks Karen to allow Mina and Zeton to be together. Mina has a crush on him. Karen, Mina, and Zeton leave. Once alone, Earth summons the Fairy Queen. Earth tells her about what happened with Mina and the one human. The Fairy Queen will be on the lookout and look more into this. Earth wants to sleep and the Fairy Queen wants Earth to sleep next to her. Earth says no. The Fairy Queen will not leave him alone until he agrees to see her again. He says they can see each other again. The Fairy Queen isn't calling Earth Big Brother anymore. It was odd in the beginning of the episode 10 she was. Now she's acting normal. It is time for Earth to leave this inn and continue his in-game adventure. He needs to replenish supplies and he wants to make a new bow. Zeton and Mina come down to the lobby. Zeton says Mina wants them to live together. After one night together, that is moving way too fast in my opinion. Earth and the innkeeper, in their opinion, approve. Zeton and Earth say their goodbyes. To make the trip to the human world again, Earth summons Pikasha. The bird gives Earth a ride out of the fairy kingdom. As a thank you, Earth cooks food for Pikasha. Pikasha is so happy. They give Earth one of their feathers. When wearing the feather, Earth will feel less tired and will have some stats increase. Back at the crafts shop, Earth makes a new bow. It is pretty big. Earth walks around wanting to try his new weapon when an announcement is made. A challenge from the departed has been fully cleared. Huh? Didn't Earth already do this? The guardian of the labyrinth pops out of the message. She says thanks to everyone's help, she can go to heaven and be at peace. This was the backstory and full complete challenge to a challenge from the departed on setting her free. There is going to be a PvP tournament that only those who defeated the secret boss can be in. Earth does not want to fight in public. Episode 10 ends with a baby dragon crying.
Majestic green dragon soaring through the city. Eventually, it undergoes a remarkable transformation into a human. The focus then shifts to Arthur, who is in a state of slumber in close proximity to the Queen. Arthur is taken aback by this peculiar situation and contemplates whether the Queen has been keeping him in this embrace since the last logout. In response, he playfully taps her on the head, prompting the Queen to explain that it's a cunning way to awaken her. Arthur, however, becomes annoyed and asserts that the time for amusement is over. It's time to depart. Despite the Queen's suggestion to linger a bit longer, Arthur insists on leaving. The scene transitions to Arthur strolling through the city, receiving greetings from guards. He engages in introspective dialogue, expressing his discomfort with the treatment he receives and his uncertainty about whether he enjoys it. Arthur resolves to improve his skills in kicking and whipping, contemplating the acquisition of a new thorny whip. Amidst his thoughts, a man with green hair named Amir interrupts Arthur, inquiring if he is indeed Art. Initially mistaken, Arthur corrects himself when Amir describes a person with black hair and black eyes. Amir notes the recent surge in individuals with similar features using bows. Arthur realizes that Amir can discern individuals by the aura they emit and identifies him as a wild dragon. This revelation infuriates Arthur, but Amir clarifies that he is not the person Arthur is searching for. Amir explains the escalating presence of wild dragons, and Arthur reflects on his responsibility for their appearance due to his actions with the red dragon baby. Despite fulfilling his duty, Arthur is reluctant to spend more time catering to wild dragons. He decides to find a place to rest, but suddenly, the Queen and Amir appear before him. Startled, Arthur is grabbed by Amir and the Queen, accusing him of mistaking the wrong person. Restrained with a thorny whip, Arthur protests and, in frustration, breaks free by leaping into the sky. Spotting an inn, Arthur realizes that entering it might allow him to log out of the game. Hastily, he rushes to the receptionist, inquires about the room's price, and promptly books it. With the key in hand, he leaps a great distance, enters the room, lies on the bed, and expresses that he can no longer endure the fairy kingdom. The next morning, Arthur returns the key to the receptionist, apologizing for the chaos caused the previous night. The receptionist inquires about the events, revealing that the Queen issued an arrest memo for Arthur. Shocked, Arthur finds pictures of himself on the wall with a note urging people to inform the Queen if they spot him. Enraged, he confronts the Queen, demanding the removal of the ring she placed on her hand. Addressing Amir, Arthur declares that he won't cook for wild dragons anymore and orders him to leave. When Amir questions what if he refuses, Arthur challenges him to a fight, expressing his intolerance for their arrogance. The scene shifts outside, where Arthur stands before the green dragon. Recalling past interactions with dragons, he reflects on his preference for quiet and avoiding attention. In the present, Arthur vents his frustration with the dragon's behavior and their unfulfilled promise. The green dragon intervenes, stating that it would be shameful for a wild dragon to strike first, allowing Arthur to unleash an aerostorm with his bow, only to find it has no effect on the dragon. The dragon questions whether that's the extent of Art's strength. It then delivers a powerful strike with its hand, sending Art flying. Art realizes the dragon's incredible strength, with most of his attacks failing to even scratch it. The dragon FLIs and delivers another powerful blow, silencing Art on the ground. The dragon informs Art that it will make his death painful. Art contemplates whether to use the choking herb but realizes the wind may blow it back on him, causing his own demise. He opts to use his bow with 2 arrows, stating that if he can't penetrate the dragon's scales, he'll shatter them. However, the dragon remains unaffected. Art is surprised, as a broad and heavy arrow like that should have succeeded. The dragon attacks again, and Art uses his shield to mitigate the impact, but it's the most he can do to resist. Earth falls to the ground, and the shield cracks before breaking. The dragon laughs, claiming the shield sacrificed itself to protect its master. Earth looks at his hand, stating that the shield has been through many battles but has now departed. He declares that now he must rise and fight, as he hasn't lost yet. Earth questions the dragon, asking how it can still fight. The dragon replies that it's time to grant Earth death and breathes fire. Art takes out a vial of sap and applies it, saying it doesn't matter if he appears a failure. He never wanted to be great in the first place, neither in the game nor in reality. He expresses his determination to keep fighting until the end and never give up. The dragon, angered, says it's time to give him death and releases fire from its mouth. Arthur uses wind-enhancing magic jumps, takes out bottles, and throws them into the dragon's mouth, causing a massive explosion. Arthur then screams a mighty roar, and a power reduction bar appears, decreasing his strength significantly. However, he manages to unleash a final devastating attack, placing his hands over his ears. Arthur hears a tremendous whistle, realizing that the dragon, unable to breathe due to the powerful gases Art released into its mouth, is in distress. Seizing this last opportunity, Arthur rises again and uses his bow, employing a skill granted by the queen. He recalls when she handed him the ring and promised to give him 2 abilities, the recreation of powerful skills created during the reign of the first fairy queen. Back to reality, Arthur uses one of those techniques, the 7 falling stars. He aims it intensely at the dragon, and glowing orbs hit the dragon with tremendous force, causing a massive explosion. Art screams loudly, and the dragon, though damaged, emerges from the dust and smoke. Art is surprised, but knows dragons can easily survive such situations. The dragon then FLIs into the air, unleashing a wind gust that uproots trees and devastates the area. The dragon, thinking it has defeated Art, laughs mockingly. However, Art, utilizing wind reinforcement, manages to escape and now employs the stealth ability, hiding behind a rock. Arthur finally reappears, but he knows he has only one chance left. The scene shifts to the strange sight after the dragon descended from the sky to the ground, obliterating everything as if it were a nuclear explosion. At this moment, Art decides to sacrifice his life. Fully aware that he could lose forever, Art recalls the queen telling him about the purple arrow, a weapon that fuses his life, magic, and emotions into the ball, creating a destructive and judgmental strike. Now, Art, ready to sacrifice himself, launches the devastating purple arrow. He remembers the queen explaining that this arrow consumes everything he has. At the same time, we see Art launching the arrow while remembering the queen's words about the arrow's potency, merging his life in magic. The dragon uses a wind barrier to diminish its strength, causing Earth to shout in frustration, knowing it's his last shot. Having exhausted all his arts, at this moment, Earth's arrow pierces the dragon's body in a terrifying manner, and then the bow disappears. Art sacrificed his body to kill the dragon, but we witnessed the dragon in agony, not yet dead. Art is surprised by this turn of events, realizing he has run out of options for the fight. However, he still has those destructive bottles, and he shocks the dragon, urging it not to retaliate. Arth's anger prevents him from thinking clearly. He just wants to kill the dragon by any means. He proceeds to detonate the bottles. The scene quickly shifts to the organization, where members wonder about the dragon's level. The girl informs them that statistically, it's the weakest, an elderly dragon with little time left. The organization debates whether they should let Earth kill the monster or let things unfold naturally. The man is amazed at Earth's willingness to sacrifice his bow. It seemed as if Earth sacrificed himself in the end. Despite being a fantasy game, The events seem remarkably real to them, and they are astounded that Earth managed to defeat the dragon. The scene transitions back to Earth, and we see the dragon with its hands severed. A spectral Art stands watching the scene. Other dragons arrive at this moment, surprising Art, who realizes they have come now. The other dragons begin to heal Earth, and a small screen indicates that he has come back to life. Earth presses the OK button, and the dragons, particularly the red one, apologize for what happened. The red dragon reveals that Earth had become very arrogant and mistreated others, even threatening the fairy queen. The dragon informs him that the queen issued an arrest warrant to protect humans and fairies. Arthur is astonished as he was unaware of the dragon's intentions and realizes the queen's actions were meant to safeguard both humans and fairies. The dragon continues, explaining they came to ensure Earth receives severe punishment. However, they discovered Earth, a human, defeated the dragon, leaving the red dragon amazed. Earth raises the point that despite the dragon's satisfaction, he still killed one of their fellow dragons. The red dragon responds that Art's victory saved their comrade from an even worse fate. As a token of gratitude, the dragon offers 3 gifts. The first is a lightweight dragon scale armor that Art happily accepts, realizing it's much lighter than expected. The dragon reassures him that it won't be heavier than human clothing. The second gift is the mysterious bow that belonged to the fairy Earth faced in the book. It is a unique weapon that only recognizes those who meet its conditions. And though Earth can't wield it now, the dragon hints at the possibility in the future if he gains its trust. The third gift is a substantial amount of gold kilograms. The dragons express their thanks once again, then depart, leaving Earth feeling a sudden heaviness and exhaustion, acknowledging that he deserves it after using the bow excessively. Then Arth calls for the bird, Pakasia, who swiftly arrives. Arth reassures Pakasia that he is fine but tired from the recent events. The bird, carrying Arth on its back, soars into the air. Art reflects on the convenience of having Pakasia around but realizes he might have exploited its advantages, drawing unwanted attention. He recalls the celebration in the fairy kingdom and how he enjoyed that day, in an attempt to change his appearance and not draw attention. Art decides to buy a green robe called Harmla from a shop. He thinks it suits him well, possibly being a garment specific to fairies. Art then heads to the fairy queen, remembering a fairy who is traumatized after witnessing his anger. He worries about how he behaved like a child. At that moment, Arth apologizes to the fairy queen, explaining that the red dragon informed him about the arrest warrant. Acknowledging the queen's decision to protect her people and humans, he expresses regret for his childish actions and offers to do anything to show respect for her wishes. The fairy queen assumes Arth dislikes her, but he clarifies that he doesn't enjoy attracting attention and treating people differently. The queen apologizes for the troubles and goes to Arth, expressing regret. She appreciates the splendid carriage Arth gave her before and the unique experience of riding Pakasia. Arth thanks her for the gifts, and the fairy queen seals the powers of the ring, asking if they can see each other again someday. As Arth leaves, the fairy queen watches him from the window. Earth bids farewell to the fairy kingdom, contemplating returning to Vast. He wonders about the current situations of everyone there and says goodbye to Satan. The scene transitions to Pakasia, who rushes to find Earth, holding a message.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.